So here we are. Welcome to After the Runs. After the
ATR.
yeah ATR. After the Runs. I'm your host Don and co-host.
Kubina. You know.
We decided to bring the group chat to a podcast. I think over the last 5 to 6 years, we just been ranting about random takes in our group chat. And honestly, we just said, why not bring it to a podcast? What do you have to say about that, Quabs?
Fam, I can't lie to you. It's been years in the making, you know? The, every single day, one of us has a crazy take, crazy idea. It doesn't even have to be crazy, just some sort of something we formulated in our head. So might as well just resurrect it, bring it to the precipice, right? So excited, you know? Got a good spot, good vibes, good content. So we're ready to go. We're locked and
would
loaded.
would you say I have the craziest takes? Like out of like everybody, like in our group chat, would you say?
They're pretty, yeah. I wouldn't say craziest, but there's certain takes that are very, very wild from you.
But I think a lot of mine is you got to plant the seed and let it grow. I don't want to say I'm a visionary, but others could say that. But I'll leave that to you guys to tell. That's not up to me now. We're here for you guys to listen, to intake what we're saying, and you guys let us know. Like if you're rocking with me, rocking with the Liverpool fan, we'll get there.
Best team in the country, by the way. Not this year, though, but, going forward.
So today we're gonna chat about Canadian soccer. We're gonna chat about what we're creating here with After the Runs. We're gonna actually talk about MLS, CPL. Week to week, we'll have different topics. This is for sure just our first episode, us kind of getting the groove of how things rolls. And yeah, I'm happy to start this journey with you all.
What really made us, or you in particular, what made you come up with the concept of Epiphany FC? What went into that process?
People who know me, my mother's restaurant's called Epiphany. For a lot of my friends who played soccer, growing up, I played at a decent level, you can call it. And Epiphany was always that backbone for us after we ate, after games and stuff, we would get food and stuff from there. So over like the last couple of weeks, my men's league team actually canceled. We weren't going to play another season. So it made me think to myself, like, do I want to sign up for another team and basically hold myself accountable to go every week, or curate a vibe where I can make a community? Because it's like, once again, I played at a decent level. So I have a lot of footballers on my IG who are not really doing much. And I don't know, something like a office hours, I think we can kind of spread light and give them a round of applause for what they've created. I said, why not? Let's do that in the soccer community. You know what I'm trying to say? Where it's monthly runs. You get people come out, tunnel fits, curate a vibe. Maybe even some weeks we're doing Scarborough versus Vaughan versus Brampton. We really see, and I know everybody wants to do the Brampton versus Scarborough to see who gets the crown. So that was kind of the whole kind of vision. But when I really looked at creating that community, it's like I could do monthly runs, but how am I really creating community? Because monthly runs is one aspect, but how can I also build something? Exactly. So that's when After the Runs kind of came to me. As you know, and you might laugh at this, I hate cameras.
For real, he's not lying. He's not lying at all.
Do not like being on camera. I do not like speaking. But sometimes you got to build stuff, and it's taking me outside my comfort zone to build something very special. And I think just to wrap this all around on Epiphany FC, so yes, it's going to be runs monthly, and then we go back to the restaurant to chill, vibe, play dominoes. You get me? Have these after the run talks, and I think the biggest surprise that I want to do is in December run a youth camp. That's kind of the full picture
Yep.
of piecing everything together and creating Epiphany FC.
That's well done. Yeah, it seems like we have a pretty set point of what you want to do. Everything going well, consistency, we keep going. Everything will go in our favor.
I can't lie, maybe a UK trip had a little influence on me. Seeing culture like out there.
Everything's
Bro,
different.
complete.
Lifestyle's different. It It's just more so lax, you know, especially in the city that we're in. Everyone's under high stress. Everyone's thinking, what do I do next? How do I do this? How do I do that? But what I realized, I was even on the way here, I was thinking about it. I'm like, you're never really ready to start something, right?
There's no ready for anything.
Yeah, you're not really ready for anything unless you do it, right? Unless you just apply it and just do it. Apply your wisdom, apply your concept and do it. So ultimately, it's a good thing that you're just doing it. Because once you start doing it, everything will just go forward from there.
Don't like, yeah, 100% agree. But you can also prepare yourself
For sure.
And I think preparation comes with like your past, using like your past experiences to build you in the future. But I also think that once we keep on doing this, or I keep on doing Epiphany FC, the consistency overall will prepare me for what's next, right? So you said something interesting. Let's just jump into it. We know in June what's coming to Canada. I mean, bro, like since I was a kid, I never thought of the moment that we would be co-hosting a World Cup.
Crazy.
I would like to start with a topic, and then you can kind of roll off of that. So I think a great question for everybody, viewership and yourself, obviously we want your take. When it comes to a World Cup, in any other country, your team's playing the opening game, right? Schools, work, everything would be shut down to celebrate your nation, right?
Ideally.
Ideally. And what we're building is a soccer country. The infrastructure is growing. What are your takes? Like, what are your expectations for that first game? Like, how are we going to set the standard?
I mean, ultimately, there's different facets where we can set the standard, right? If we're looking at it from a actual infrastructure perspective in terms of performing our identity as a footballing nation, you would think everything would be closed. Schools would be closed.
Yeah.
Specific workplaces will be closed.
Yeah.
Just to get everybody in that rallying identity that, you know what, this is our first game in Canada, hosting a game.
Everybody in Liberty Village.
Yeah, for sure.
In the red.
All types of bars, watch parties, everything. That's ideally. We don't live in an ideal world though, right?
Yeah.
That would be my thing, but I know that won't happen. So ultimately, it just comes down to the fans that are there or the fans that are in and around the area, right? So if we're able to create a culture in which not only fans who are at the stadium are able to watch, enjoy, support wherever, just across the country, because we know we're about 4 or 5 million. Yeah. We need most people watching, right? Yeah. That would be good. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's really about the performance.
Yeah, I agree. But I will say that, like, bro, if you go back to the past World Cup and what Canada has created, because you got to remember, like, people were saying the last team was the golden generation. And you look at this team, to me, this team has the ability to surprise a lot of nations.
Sure, a lot of teams. We can definitely make a run, considering the quality of players at our disposal, considering that international football is more even than before.
Yeah.
Even though international is usually even because it's the best players on every country. Now, World Cup's 48 teams, not 32 teams, right?
Yeah.
48 teams. Canada has been one of the better performing countries in world football for around 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So really and truly, we definitely have a shot of not only advancing, but just captivating the minds and the hearts of the Canadian people. And that in turn will create a platform in where we can improve the infrastructure and where we can improve our ideas, our concepts, all the things associated with being a good footballing nation.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, on top of what you're saying, I think Jesse has done a great job in terms of building a team with the players he has at his disposal. I think the tippy-tappy that used to be going on, tippy-tappy is not for everyone, you know? I'm a Man City fan, and I'm saying that. Tippy-tappy is not for everyone, you know? And I think the direct play, the aggression that we have when we're closing down space is kind of really bringing out that Canadian identity.
It's synonymous with Canada, for sure. We're, especially in our sports are really fast-paced, they're direct, they're aggressive, front foot. And with obviously the talent we have at our disposal, it just suits us, right?
Yeah, so, I agree.
For sure. He's also done a good job, which I'll give him a lot of credit for, I am critical of Jesse for sure, but he's done a very good job in actually uniting the soccer associations per province, uniting Canadians, not even your soccer fan, not your typical soccer fan Canadian, just your average casual Canadian fan. I feel as though he's tried his best to market a team and market a performance that your casual fan can watch.
100%. And like, I think we can even touch on the pipeline that he's built. Like, if you look at the pipeline after Herdman, you would say the pipeline, there wasn't many players to your disposal. You look at so many dual internationals who chose Canada.
It's true.
Like, you never used to see that.
It's true.
You never used to see that, right?
100%. Some decent quality players as well.
So I have to give him credit where credit's due, and I'm excited to see where this goes, because I feel like the effect is not only at the national stage. I think when you go to the CPL, it's another great example of what soccer in this country is becoming.
Mm-hmm. It's even good that he did a domestic camp also in January, right?
I mean, domestic camp and also calling up coaches from the CPL. I don't think a lot of people highlight that.
Oh, that's actually a very important aspect, because in order for our football to be aligned as a nation and our identity, our footballing identity, most of the coaches need to be on similar wavelengths. So that means not that you have the same exact philosophy as the head coach, but we need to be sharing footballing ideas. Especially as a coach myself, I know that although I'm a youth coach, I'm a grassroots coach, it's very important that we're highlighting how we actually want to play throughout the country, which in turn will help youth development, senior development, everything. It's very, very good to have a difference of ideas, to share ideas, piggyback off each other, see how things work in a professional environment, how they work in an amateur environment. So it's actually extremely good. He's doing good work, I have to say.
We go into the CPL, right? Who do you have an eye on in terms of who do you think is going to be the most improved club? Let's start there.
That's a good question. I can't lie. I'm liking the moves Halifax have made. Can't lie. They did relatively well last season. They were able to make a first playoff appearance in a while.
Yeah.
They were able to do well. I just feel as though with an experienced coach like Vanny, they have their home working for them, home field advantage. That's a very, very tough ground to play. And his style of play, it's pretty high energy. So it's pretty relatable. It's pretty synonymous with how Halifax normally plays. I think they can cause some trouble, for sure.
So that's your dark horse?
My dark horse, I would say it'd be Inter Toronto, though.
Dark horse or favorites?
That'd be my dark horse. My favorites, because I was thinking Inter Toronto would be my favorites, but no, I think they're my dark horse. My favorite would be Cavalry.
Why? Tommy's a top guy.
That's what I feel as though.
Tommy's a top guy.
Top coach.
I think
their style of play just,
yeah,
it's really, really just works with how the league is going. Forge, they've made some changes as well to their style of play and personnel. So we don't know how that's going to work out, but I feel as though Cavalry has the real comfort. They have the chemistry.
The player recruitment
recruitment's good also. So we'll see how it goes. Inter Toronto can make a run, though. They have some very good players as well. Good system.
So, like, my dark horse is Supra FC. For people who know me, I have a thing for Quebec football. I think when it comes to the province of Quebec, if you look at the quality of players they've been producing, it's one that you can't turn your eye away from. Mind you, that they don't have the proper youth development. So a lot of these players,
proper.
quote unquote proper. So a lot of these players are basically getting pushed at a later age. I mean, if you look at the compatibility of some of these players then going to Europe, they don't shy away from those moments.
That's what I will say about Quebec. My experiences playing in a Quebec little tournament, experiences seeing them up close and personal. Their football is not as rigid. It's not as structured, and that's not in a bad way, because structured football is not a bad thing, but it's not as rigid and uniform as other provinces.
Yeah.
Specifically Ontario. And I feel as though as a footballer, you need to be able to express yourself.
That's why I like Shirky, bro. I wake up every morning to watch Shirky, bro.
So in terms of the relatability, the transferability to a European game, yeah, Quebec for sure. And they play with a different type of hunger, a different type of grit. It's more of a European style of play.
So what I will say, yes, I'm gonna go on to like basically back up what you're saying, and I think that Bilbao kind of team structure, only recruiting players from Quebec.
True.
That means you're playing for the badge. Like people kind of sometimes forget about that. When you're playing for the badge, it's completely different. And Nicholas, the coach over there, I seen him at Saint Laurent and what he put together. And I believe they brought majority of the same staff over to Super FC. And I would like to say, no discrediting them, Atletico Ottawa used to benefit from Quebec not having a team.
For sure.
So now
We'll see how it goes now. For sure, 100%. A little bit of cross-border play. Best Quebecers or Quebecois over there, Ottawa playing. Yeah, Supra is definitely gonna cause a lot of now that you're.
I'm telling you, bro. You guys think I'm just crazy because I like Quebecois football. You know,
now that you're breaking it down, they can definitely do something, and the quality of players they have is already good. For an expansion team, it's already good. They've signed David,
Schwanier,
stalwart. They signed Abzi, stalwart, went to Europe. Yeah, Sean Rea, good player, came from Montreal, did a stint in Halifax as well. So they're signing CPL experienced players and just players with a lot of footballing experience, whether it's at the collegiate level, whether it's in leagues in other areas, whether it's semi-pro. They just have a lot of footballing experience.
And what I'm going to say, my favorite to win the league this year, and this is all into respect to Forge, because I have to say here and respect Forge.
Can't discredit what they've done. It's true. They're in the running. They're in the running.
Forge is almost like Man City. Like you gotta respect them. You gotta respect them.
You can't discredit them.
But for me, I'm going Inter Toronto is my favorite. I think Maro, to me, one of the best gaffers for me that I see in the CPL. What they have created there, bringing in players from the Mexican League.
True.
Bringing in people who have experience like Ollie Bassett, right?
CPL player, best player before he left, right?
Yep.
They have some continuity as well. Stephen Yates is still there, midfield presence. Shola, we'll see another year of football from him. Big talent, huge talent.
Sadio.
Mini Mane, Mini Mente. But yeah, they have a good team overall. And they did relatively well last year. And that was considering the age of their team was a little bit older than the average. So now with the younger contingent mixed with the experience.
You also got to remember the season that Julian Altobelli had.
Good season.
Right? A player. And that's one thing I like about the CPL. Like, we're going to give credit to CPL right now before we transition. One, I feel like when I was growing up, and not to bring this about myself, League One was the test to play with men. I feel like after U16, U17, it's either you could play with men or you can't. And that was missing. League One was that, but you got to remember, for League One, only some teams had an older structure, right? So I think the CPL offers that, an opportunity. And secondly, I think a lot of players who are on TFC2, playing USL, the CPL, the promotion behind a player. Because if you're playing in the USL as a Canadian, you're not going to get pushed unless you're doing your numbers. You know what I'm trying to say? Unless your numbers are crazy, right? But I think CPL does a great job of providing that foundation, not only for players, though, for coaches,
general managers, staff. It's true. All around.
Yeah.
I think that's the benefit of a relatively new league as well. It's the unknown. So a lot of things can be backed up by data, right?
Yeah.
So I feel as though the CPL, in terms of the metrics, that is usually what is driving the league forward, because they're at a point where they still can't take as many risks, and data is usually the key indicator of good or bad decisions. So it helps with the player recruitment, helps with the staff recruitment, helps with just the overall league. And ultimately, to be a footballing nation, you need a professional league. You can't get around it.
Yeah.
There's no decent to good country that doesn't have a resident league.
No, for
a
sure.
lot of times, we're looking at the money aspect. Is it sustainable? Is it feasible? there's not really many businesses that are sustainable or feasible in the first few years of operation, right? So just like as we talked about the start of the episode, just doing things. So it's good that Canada was able to recognize that there's a platform that's needed to push our younger players and also our senior players as well. There just needs to be a home for players to be able to play pro football domestically. And it's helped. We've seen it in CONCACAF competition. They've made some deep runs in the Champions Cup, in the CONCACAF League. They've competed with the Mexican teams, and you have to be honest, Liga MX is a couple levels ahead of the CPL, right? In terms of the recruitment, money generated, all of that. So things are going well. They just need to continue to keep building, continue to keep working, continue just really focusing on the youth recruitment. And I think the next step for the CPL is just having every team develop an academy.
I think, obviously you go back to a business. I think that, yes, from soccer aspects, 100% developing academy would be the next step. But we also got to think about it being feasible.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of stuff does go into that.
You got to build a training center. You got to build all of that. It's true.
Yeah, so we will see what the next steps have in store for the CPL. But before we switch gears, because we're on the topic of Canadian soccer, let's talk about our women's national team, bro. Yeah, women's national team.
In particular, did you have anything you suggested? Is there any grievances? Is there any questions?
I just think, here's my view on the women's league. Sorry, the Canadian national team. I think we started our league kind of too late.
I think so too.
So it's dropped. We go back to Jesse developing a pool of players, right? I'm not saying the CPL had a great doing in that, but it was for sure a provider in many ways. Coaching staff. You have players that he would call up for camps, like Shola that you did shout out earlier. I think when you look at the women's Canadian national team, we were just so okay with what we had in the great moment. When we had Christine St. Clair, you had Desiree Scott,
Schmidt, etc.
Yeah. So those were the good days, right? And then you have the whole drone fiasco, like that whole fiasco. But with that being said, I think the women's national team, you look at someone like Olivia Smith, who is she's a generational talent.
For sure.
There's no
I wouldn't deny it.
questions
Yeah,
about
for
it,
sure.
right? But what I'm trying to say is it's going to be like, how do we build a team around the key spine of the team? So you have someone like Jade Rose, you have Jessie Fleming, right? You have Olivia Smith. So how do you build from the spine? And I think if you don't have a spine, you don't have a team, right? And I think what the Women's League can offer here in Canada that started last year is almost developing that pipeline, because I feel like a lot of girls do get big NCAA scholarships on the women's side, right? And after their 4 years of university, there's nowhere to play, because it's like, yeah, you can go take the leap of faith and play in Europe, but we all know how women football is in Europe. There's only a couple,
There's only a few big clubs. We're getting more lucrative, but it's not as lucrative or self-sustaining as you would say in North America, because North America has NWSL, now NSL.
And I think one of the biggest deals was the Rodman. Like, Rodman could have went over to Europe to any of the big teams. They definitely would have
given her 2-3 million euros, but she's like, I want to stay. I want to continue to help the league grow.
What I'm trying to say now is, in the NSL, if they can basically continue to push the league, I think it can get to the point where you have a lot of Canadian homegrowns who maybe do 4 years at a UCLA or do 4 years at, I don't know, Florida State, and come back home and really grow the league. Because it takes those players.
I agree.
It takes players like that. Because it's like, now, let's say I am a dad who takes my little daughter to soccer at North Toronto.
Boom.
Right? I've seen a player who's developed from 14, right? Because obviously you always hear about older players in the club who's good. Or you might go to Ontario Cup to watch them. So let's say that player then goes to a university in the States, right? So my little girl now is probably around 12 when she comes back, right? If she's playing for AFC Toronto, we're going to every game.
It's a must.
Because
It's right
that
there.
relation...
We have a local relationship.
Exactly.
We've shared a common goal in terms of development. We know that there's a local professional. She can look after it, so she doesn't have to export it. Right there. Local. 10, 15 minutes away.
Boom.
There. Also, I have heard that the manager of the women's team, Casey Stoney, I have seen on social media a bit, the fans aren't really too happy with her decision-making tactically. Feels though she's playing the same players, obviously too much trust in the veterans, which is not a bad thing, but it could also be detrimental when they can't keep up with the pace of the game. Things such as that. So ultimately, it is important that we have that league and it continues developing, which had a fantastic year, but we also need to look at the staff as well and hold them accountable.
But see, bro, it goes back to what we were saying. Like, I know men's and women's soccer can be relatable on a certain level. Look at Jesse's staff. Jesse's staff are all people who have experience in the Canadian game. They know these players. Know these players from when they were at Vaughan.
Amateur Sigma. It's true. It's true.
So that goes a long way.
It does. 100%.
That goes a long way.
Especially in the national team setting, it does go a long way. So, yeah, we'll see. I definitely do think that having a women's league will further the development of the Canadian women's national team because other countries are catching up. They're investing more into women's football every year. So globalization, it's lucrative. They're selling out Emirates Stadium. They're selling out, even the big clubs, they're all selling out stadiums. Women's Champions League. They got FIFA. They got a Club World Cup for the women's side now. So everything is geared around the expansion and the furtherance of women's football. So we need to continue to promote that furtherance as well, or we will get left behind.
And I believe Olympics, 2027 in the States?
2028.
2028
Los
in the
Angeles,
States. So that's going to be a big one, a big showcase,
For sure.
Before we switch topics, switch gears, Ali Ahmed. What do you think about that move? I'll keep it a buck. When the move was made, I was like, okay, one, this guy is really going to be playing soccer until the World Cup. No break. That's the first thing that came into my mind. Like, no break. Two, Norwich is in relegation. So, like, every game matters. Like, you got to remember, like, yeah, every game mattered for him in the month of December and November because it was playoff. But it's a different pressure.
It is.
Because MLS, they could say every game matters.
But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter.
You just got to make playoffs.
That's it. You got to be from 1st to 9th.
You got to make playoffs. So, I was scared about the move because I think Ali is a talent. I think he's a baller, like straight up baller. But to see what he has done in a short period of time, hats off to Ali, man. He bet on himself, bro.
That's what you have to do. Especially as Canadian players, we need to get out of our comfort zone and find those moves. Once I saw the move, I was buzzing for him because I already knew he's a quality player. Number two, he's going to be playing in a pressure-filled environment. And this is only good, boding well for us ahead of the World Cup. And a lower-level championship team, although Norwich, they do have a history of being a yo-yo club, Premiership, Championship. Yeah. It's not that far off the MLS, right?
Fam, I mean, the man went into the league and, like, he just started
right away.
Man was putting up Giannis numbers.
Right away. So
Giannis numbers.
The translation is there. And we have a few Canadians playing as well in the championship. You got Liam Miller playing in the championship. Kyle Larin, he's doing his thing at Southampton too. Shout him out. And there's a contingent of just North Americans in general. Even you look at the U.S. side.
Question for you then. You guys, this is where the antics come from. What does that say about the MLS in terms of championship? Like, you have Ali, who was doing really well in the MLS. We're not taking credit away from that. Mm-hmm. But he goes in the championship, same pace. Maybe even a little bit more.
True. Patrick Ajimai, there from Charlotte, Derby County, doing his thing. Like I said, here's how I would quantify MLS in relation to the championship. I would say the top championship sides are better than your top MLS sides.
You think so?
So from one.
So I have a question for you.
From 1 to 8.
You think a Coventry is dealing with Inter Miami?
It would be a game. It would definitely be a game. I wouldn't say that they would deal with them. I can't say that off rip because Inter Miami is a team just chock full of talent, and they have arguably the best player to ever play the sport, along with other good players. So, but it would definitely be a game.
Okay, let's throw away Inter Miami then. LAFC versus Coventry. I'm taking LAFC any day of the week.
Are you?
I'm taking LAFC any day of the week.
That's a good shout too, though. They do have some quality players as well. I do think that in terms of your promotion chasing championship side, in comparison to your top MLS side, you can probably compare the two.
Fair.
So 1 to 8, and then maybe 1 to what? 4
Fair.
or 5
Yeah,
MLS.
Yeah.
But that 8 to 24 and the 8 to 30 in the MLS, that's where the discrepancy is.
Fair shout.
Because
Fair shout.
those are just the mid-table, the good team, the good to mid-table sides, right? And a team like Norwich can pay what was, I don't even know what the reported transfer fee was, but I know it was an 8-figure fee or something something approaching
like
to an 8-figure fee for Ali. A team like Norwich can pay that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No, you're
there's
right.
only 3 spots. You put a team like Charlotte FC or a team like Portland Timbers, they can only just use 3 spots on that, right? So the discrepancy in quality is higher.
No, I hear you.
Like if I were to put LA in the championship, they'd be around 1 to 7. So the promotion sides, 1 to 6, 1 to 7.
Yeah.
But if I were to put a team like DC United, and they're getting relegated, they're going to League One right away.
Yeah.
They're going to League One
Yeah.
away.
I can't even.
Talking
Talking facts.
right away.
So, we're on the topic of MLS. Let's talk about it. Season starts next weekend, right? Right back at it. What do you think about this year? Like, Inter Miami still favorites for you?
They would have to be, right? They reinforced in key areas. They got the reigning goalkeeper of the year. Shout out the dog. They've gotten Herman Berterame, top player in the Mexican league as well.
Yeah.
So they're just making moves.
Yeah, like
They're
I would have.
reinforcing. So I would have them as the favorites. LAFC, you can't count them out either. They have a good side.
How about Vancouver though? It was a different offseason for them, right?
For sure, they lost some players as well, right?
Lost some players.
Lost Ali, lost
I'm not
Julian.
counting them out though.
I can't.
I'm not counting them out.
I can.
though.
I like what Jesper Sorensen is doing over there too. I like
Yeah.
their style of play. Ryan Gold is coming back also for a full season.
Yeah.
It's key. It's important to note that he was out basically most of the year.
Bro, like honestly, I do care about these teams, but there's only one team I really care about in the MLS. Come on, you Reds! Come on, you Reds!
Fam, I don't even. What are your expectations for Toronto FC? I haven't really even thought about it too much, but the team is good. Like I can't go sit there and look at all the teams in the league and say that Toronto FC is far behind in terms of player quality, at least.
I will say this: it was a good offseason. If we're rating it out of 10, give us a 7. 7. We're missing
We still
a
need a striker, right?
Missing the striker, but I'll give us a 7.
Yeah. Yeah, we got ourselves a new fullback, new left back. Obviously, Georgie wasn't an off-season signing, but we reinforced our attacking midfield position.
Baller.
And Cifuentes as well. We brought him in during around the same time, so our midfield is pretty good.
I say 4th. 4th or 5th. That's what I want.
4th or 5th?
4th or 5th. That's what I want.
That'd be a great season.
That's what I want.
We were decimated with injuries last year, to be fair. Mon Lewis is coming back. I've seen him live a few times. I'm pretty impressed with his style of play.
Yeah.
Our defense was actually relatively good. Remember that run we went on where we had 8 draws in a row? We weren't conceding many goals. The problem is we just can't score.
But we had one of the best shot stoppers in the back of the net.
We did. It's a big year for Luka as well. Luka Gavran. Big
Honestly,
year for him. It's a big year for him.
For me, I love when homegrowns get a chance.
sure.
When homegrowns get a chance, I'm
It's
buzzing.
the fabric of the club, and often, especially with Toronto FC, like we're spearheaded by billionaires, right? So I feel as though our recruitment over the years has been too geared towards big names
Yeah.
and not profiles of players that we need.
The crazy part is the talent's here.
There.
It's here.
It's here.
I mean, you look at Theo, towards the end of the season, he got his groove, And like I just think about the players we lost that kind of hurt me. I remember watching Jaden Nelson and Russell Rowe at like Generation Adidas. They had it at the training ground when they were 15. I'm looking at these kids and like, yo, these are pros. But sometimes in life, you got to go away
It's true.
to come back even better.
It's true.
So those are two
not
prime
linear, right?
examples. Exactly.
You know, the chance of an academy player making it to their first team, it's relatively low. It's actually extremely low. Even if you're good, there's plenty of good kids in the academy, right? So, and like I said, Toronto FC is just a different case from other MLS clubs in the fact that we just have an abundance of money. So sometimes we view money as the easy solution, easy fix.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. And I feel like we had a couple things that worked for us. Like if you look at the golden era, like with Javinko, it was insane. Josie Altidore, Michael Bradley, Vasquez. We had a team.
Even then, the spine of our team was good too. The center backs, quality. Justin Morrow, left back, quality. You got Ashton Morgan as deputizing for him. Deputy left back, quality. Everything was just
Raheem
good.
Edwards.
Our team was just good overall. Hams, shout out Hams too. Deputy striker. So there was still, obviously we had the big name exports, but there was still that aspect of homegrown quality, which you're alluding to, which we did have.
What I always say, and it might not be the right for all teams, but I feel like when a team reflects its city and has a connection to the city and the club, that's when it does the best.
100%.
That's always been my view with a lot of teams in sports in general, but football as well. And I think that team did a great job. But I think because of the Javinko hype, we went on our Italian splurge. Fede
was good though.
Fede wasn't bad.
He was good. He was good. I feel as though he got a very bad rap, considering he didn't play with that good of a team and all of the burden was placed on him in a creative sense, in a sense that he had to carry our attack, especially not with a functioning striker. But his numbers were pretty good. I feel as though Federico was value for money. Lorenzo, I don't think they did their due diligence. Obviously, we can't discredit his history coming from what he's done, Serie A, what he's done. But he did have a history of calf injuries. And the MLS is a physical league. You got to be able to cover some ground.
Bro, I will never forget when that signing happened, though. I was buzzing because U20 Lorenzo Insigne.
2013.
U20.
That tournament was crazy. That's the first time we watched them play.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I was like, you know what? Maybe we're gonna get a rebirth. But then he was just Yorkville living, and
I know. Even him coming off of Euro 2020, he was one of the best players of the tournament. So he still had a little bit of juice left in him. But like I said, that history of calf injuries, the knowledge that the MLS is just, there's different variables to the MLS that a lot of players don't understand. They just see that it's North America. It's like, oh yeah, it's a retirement league, this, that, and the third. But you actually have to be a certain type of player in order to succeed.
Facts.
You got to be able to cover some ground. Or if that's not the case, your team has to be built around you so you don't have to do as much and you can impact the final third, especially as an attacking player.
You know what team I'm excited for? It's in the East.
Red Bulls?
You already know. Like when we talk about soccer in Canada,
They're the most synonymous, I would say, most relatable.
I'm gonna say something. Julian de Guzman is a certified winner.
Go.
I had the pleasure of working with him at Cinco County Rovers in League One, and he pushed me to another level, whether it came to recruitment, whether it came to just making sure operations were straight, going in a straight line that's basically elevating. And shout out to Peter Rocco as well, right? That I didn't understand at the time because it was coming from a different world, right? I believe his first year in MLS, he went to the finals with the Red Bulls. First years, right? Built a good team. Second year wasn't as good. However, Red Bulls 2,
They won as well.
they win.
They won as
Right?
well. So
Then he promotes Bradley to the head coach job at Red Bulls. And I'm really excited to see what they do. They got Caden from Chivas, right? I think that's going to be a big signing because when he went to Chivas, he started off pretty...
yeah, Cade Cowell's a good player though. Really, really good MLS player, I would say. Yeah. So he should be able to come back more familiar settings and do well.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what Red Bulls do this year, to be honest.
What I will say about Red Bulls is that ultimately I think it's on their game management because most Red Bull teams, they play the same.
Red Bull press!
press, gegenpress, high press. They're just there, repressing, win the ball back 5 to 7 seconds. Why I feel as though Red Bulls haven't consistently won as much as they should, because how sustainable is that model of football going into the latter stages of the season?
It's sustainable depending on the players you have. If you have a young, energetic team, it could be sustainable, but then you're going to lack experience in the key moments of the game because not all young players have that experience.
So that's why Red Bulls, it's a good shout for me, for sure. They can definitely do something, but I always just look back to their philosophy and how it has, I won't say a negative impact per se, but how it can be a little bit of a drawback because when you're playing that high intensity, high octane style of football from February to October, that's all good and well. But November, December, eventually you're going to fatigue. You're going to flame out a little bit. And I know this very well as a Liverpool fan. Jurgen Klopp being ahead of Red Bull, my team playing that style of play. I know that in certain aspects, that was probably...
This guy's buzzing for Prem Talks. He wants Prem Talks to start now. He is buzzing.
I'm buzzing. No, but I'm going to relate everything all together. But I know that in certain aspects, like us playing such a heavy style of football probably at the latter end of the season is where the fatigue starts to kick in. You drop points. But what's working in the Red Bulls' favor is obviously the MLS. They have playoffs, right? So it's not a regular season table. So if they're fresh enough from October to late November, early December, fine margins, they're just able to maybe sit back certain games instead of just going all out attack, being steady, a little bit pragmatic, they could definitely make a run.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That is a good shout, though. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, fam. I always have to have the good. Yeah,
he's the GOAT, too. So
yeah, he's a real life GOAT. Prem. Also, before we get into this topic, like, it's a big goal of ours to kind of build inwards, outwards. What I mean by that is we will bring you Prem Talks, talk about Bundesliga and world soccer. But me and Klops thought it was really important to put the light on Canada first and then also bring in the talks about world football. I think for the both of us, we love the game. And I think our way of giving back and promoting is to kind of build that inward, outward structure.
Very key, you know, especially as players who, or people who...
Players. You have a touch? You have a touch?
It's okay. 1-2, fam. Nothing crazy, you know?
I think you have a little heavy foot.
I wouldn't say that.
A little heavy foot.
I wouldn't say that.
A little heavy foot.
I wouldn't say that.
You know Doku.
It's like... commas. But yeah, I feel as though as people who've experienced the ecosystem, who've been there for the ups and downs, who have close associates, friends, confidants who are playing at the highest level, it's good to highlight what's going on in our own backyard. You know, Canadians, sometimes we focus too much on other things. We don't want to focus on ourselves. So it's important that we focus on ourselves, our football, and how we want it to be shaped, how we want it to impact our lives, and how we want it to really ultimately impact the lives of Canadians. Right?
I feel like at the end of the day, Canadian football is here, you know? It's here to stay. So we got to big up ourselves. You get me? We got to big up ourselves one time.
This is a part of improving the infrastructure, the media surrounding it, the conversation surrounding it. It's not really ultimate. It's not really only just on the field. It's just everything around it. Everything surrounding it. You have to be able to give it coverage, the necessary coverage, whether it's in a positive light or it's in more of a critical light.
Yes, sir.
Just highlighting what's going on, what's going well, what can be done to further it, in our opinions, just sharing an unfiltered perspective.
Also, one thing before we start our chats, if you guys are ever interested in hopping on the pod, like, just shout us out. Like, it's supposed to be, once again, inwards, outwards. So if you want to have takes, you want to talk Prem ball, you want to come chat with us, come just holler at us.
Oh, even if mans want to talk ball a 1-2, you know? If mans want to talk hoops a 1-2, maybe.
I don't know about that. It's called After the Runs. Let's stick to the script. Okay, so Prem ball. Okay, so honestly, I know you're wearing a Liverpool jersey, but like that's an afterthought, and we talk about this Premiership title race. So let's go to where everybody's minds are right now. You think Arsenal could do it with 4 points?
Do I think so? Yeah, Should they think so? Definitely. But I'm seeing a lot of meltdown, which leads me to the conclusion that they probably won't do it. Because when you finish third, or when you finish second, I should say, 3 times in a row, it's very draining. I can only imagine coming so close, especially the first 2 times, just bottling it.
I'll say this. One, I have them losing points on Sunday to Spurs.
New manager bound Spurs.
I don't think.
Are you sure?
I have Spurs. I have Spurs getting.
New manager bound Spurs.
I have Spurs doing me a little favor. They owe us. They owe City.
The thing that is working in Arsenal's favor, I will say, is that City, they are good, but it's not to the previous levels.
Nah, okay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But what I will say is that, fam, if you look at Eze, you look at like even Saka, bro. Offensively, it looks like Arteta is a murderer. Like your creativity is
It's
just
stifled. And the thing is, Arsenal, they don't have any world-class attacking players. Not one. Like, Saka is the closest thing to world-class, and he's not a world-class player. He's a very good player, but
Does
he's not
everything right.
world-class. Midfield, they're good. Jury is out. Do people think Declan Rice is world-class? I understand why they think so. Do I think he's world-class? Personally, no, but he is a very good player.
He's class.
Martin Zubimendi, very good player. The thing that is working in Arsenal's favor as to why they're doing well, they're a very organized team. They're very structured. That's one thing I will give Mikel Arteta a lot of credit for. He's very methodical. So their backline is the best backline, 100%. They're the most organized. They're the least risk-averse team. So they take the least risk out of all of the bigger clubs, I would say.
I'm going to say something. There's a certain individual in that back line who has a mistake in him. Gabriel has a mistake in him. Gabriel has a mistake in him, fam.
Gabriel, I think both of them do. I think both of the center backs at times.
Saliba really focuses, you know?
I don't know.
He has a recovery page. He focus. You see me? But Gabriel, he has a mistake in him.
Gabriel's a little bit more rash, I would say.
You see the Brazilians. I question them focusing for 90. I question a Brazilian center back focusing for 90.
What I will say is, they work very well in tandem. Like this back line is very even. Calafiori as left back, Timber full back. Timber, I'm a very, very, very big fan of Timber.
Timber's a baller.
I wish my club had signed him when he was available, but that's
You guys don't spend money the proper way
for another day. But back to Arsenal. Yeah. So in terms of their play style, they exhibit the most control, meaning that they're very, very organized. So it's not hard for them to necessarily get points because they're good at set pieces as well, right? Which is a big thing in the Premier League now, especially the way it's played. There's a lot of low blocks.
I'm going to say something, bro. That set piece stuff, bro, it doesn't sit with me, right?
It doesn't, because they called Tony Pulis a dinosaur back in the day. Those Stoke teams, when they were doing throw-ins, having 4 center backs as the whole back line, they called him a dinosaur and he was out of touch. But now this is the new flavor in the Premiership.
But yo, I'll say something. See my squad, yeah? City.
What kind of, bro? What kind
See
of
my squad. See my squad. So, just for you guys to get some back knowledge, in September, November, I told Kobina, like, yo, and I told the group chat, basically, like, City was missing color. Fam, listen to me.
I'm listening, bro.
Bro, we were missing color. Like, we only had a man like Doku. You know what I'm trying to say? We're missing some color, some flavor, you know? You always need a little bit of flavor. And we want to go get our flavor.
Yeah, you guys got some good recruits, good flavor.
You know what I'm trying to say? And the spine.
Good seasoning.
The spine's back. The only thing I question about the spine right now, like, bro, I don't know if Rodri can give me 90 anymore. And Pep loves to keep him in for the 90 because it's like having a coach on the field.
It's true.
You know what I'm trying to say?
He's a quarterback.
I have to respect it. But what I'm going to say about City is that the respect that I don't like is this. Because we're winning games in an unnatural way to people, they think we're shit.
That's also true.
Because you're so used to us dominating games. But as soon as we switch up our style of play, like, I'm going to tell you right now, that Liverpool win was one of the happiest moments of my life. Because that's a City side I haven't seen for a while. They're talking about like a Pellegrini maybe. It was a different City.
I hear you.
You know? And I'm the first one to say, Bernardo Silva, what are you doing? Because he seems a little bit like a pest nowadays. Like, you know, because he has quality. But sometimes when you...
Busy.
Yeah, he's been too busy. Like, I see this guy playing CM, end up right wing, end up left wing. Like, fam, you're not no Turkey. Only my Turks can do that.
This guy said Turkey.
You get what I'm trying to say?
I hear you, fam.
But what Bernardo now, he said something, I think it was the other day, or it was one of the commentators I heard, that City is missing that leader that kind of knows what it is to win the Prem. But what that Liverpool game did was reinforce that we can win in different ways and that we're still alive. And if you remember the first Arsenal game, I don't know what got into Pep that game, but we were playing some haram ball. Straight haram ball. Like, fam, we dropped the line like low block.
I don't know why he did that, because he knows that's not his bag. And Arsenal, like, you're there, that's a team you can get after them. You have to just keep on attacking them.
I think it all goes into our 11. It's figuring out what Reinders really is for us, because that's, everybody has their questions up in the air. And then 2, this one's going to hurt me. I don't even want to say this on camera, but 47 can't start.
Philip.
47 can't start. He could come on.
You know,
Can't start.
From someone who's not a City fan, I feel as though when I watch Phil Foden play, like, I still don't know what position he plays. I still don't know what role he is. I don't know what
I think he's an attacking mid, personally. But you gotta realize the way City plays, it's so not normal. Like, if you remember against you guys, first half, what's his name? Semenyo, sorry. He was tucked in the whole game. Tucked in like he was like a Bernardo Silva or he's like Iniesta.
Very confusing.
That's not his game. Very confusing. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to chop them down brick by brick. Brick upon brick. Brick upon brick upon brick. We'll see what the future has. You know, health is coming back on our side. Sure. You know, Doku
had some injuries as well. So
yeah, so we'll see what that has in store. Big up. I shouldn't even be saying this as a City fan. Big up United.
They're balling. I know our brethren's gonna be amped. You know, I gotta show them some love. United's been playing some football.
Big up United one time, but I just think, fam, you look at Ruben. He was trying to implement a style of play that wasn't fitting his players.
But you see, this is the problem with the modern day manager.
What is that?
It's a lack of pragmatism. It's a lack of adapting to what they have. The solution for them is, okay, look, I play this style of play. If I don't have 200, 300, 400 million to get the players in, then I won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, and I think that you can kind of go back to my bald-headed manager who kind of set his principles, and a lot of people are following him in that, right? But the thing is like, big up Pep, because I think he's the best manager of all time. People can say whatever. He's adapting.
For sure.
Like, it might not be the way...
It's not a clean adaptation, but
you know what I'm trying to say? We're adapting.
It's there.
Tippy-toppy to a less.
It's there.
You get what I'm trying to say? When I see us boot a ball into the pocket for Holland, fam, I'm happy.
Which is what works. That's a style of play, right? You know? He's a player that gets into the channels. And
you see that man, Holland. He's a man who set his bar too high.
He's a victim of his own standards.
100%. 100%. Because we're here saying, I got people who DM me, tell me that Holland isn't a good player. Fam.
It's true. I don't know why people think that. You see, but this is the problem also. There's a lot of aesthetics bias in football. And what I mean by that is that people value players who look good rather than players who provide substance. And I can relate that with Holland. Obviously, I'm going to go back to my club because I have to, But,
fam, before you even go there's no real gunman in soccer anymore.
There's not.
No real gunman striker that is there. Like, remember back in the days, there was real gunmen. Like,
guys like Costa, fucking Zlatan, even though I don't rate him that much, he was a gunman.
Fam, real gunman.
Melito, Eto, Diego, and these are not even I'm not even naming the best of the best. I'm naming the second, third, or
fam. Even look at Ba and Cisse.
It's true.
Real gunmen, fam. Real gunmen.
Yeah, that's one thing I will say about the modern game
even,
as well.
You know who else too? Andy Carroll, gunman.
I wouldn't say he was a gunman, but you know, I wouldn't say he was a gunman, but he was. I don't know. I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go that far.
But Andy Carroll had a run in him.
He did.
Okay, Luca Toni, gunman.
Gunman. Inzaghi, gunman.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that's
Real-
what I would say.